2, 1, and we're live. All right, welcome to the Grand Prairie District Catholic School Division's regular board meeting for November 23rd. We are going to start with an opening prayer. Thank you.
In the name of the Father, and Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, be with us in our school community as we prepare for your arrival. As we journey together over this Advent season, ready our hearts and minds to celebrate the coming of our Savior. Grant us the patience that you gave to Mary and Joseph, who also eagerly awaited your coming. Bestow on us the awareness that you gave to the shepherds to recognize your magnificence. And let us have the fortitude of the wise men as we journey with you in faith. Be with us as we wait and then rejoice in your coming. We ask this in the name of the Father, and Son, and Holy Spirit.
Thank you, Jennifer. At this time, Treaty 8 recognition, Grand Prairie District Catholic Schools acknowledges that we live and learn on Treaty 8 territorial ancestral home of the Beaver, Cree, Dene, and Métis people. We acknowledge all the many Indigenous peoples whose ancestors have walked this land, and we dedicate ourselves to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation with all people within this territory. All right. At this time, I'd like to ask for adoption of the agenda.
That the Board of Trustees approve the agenda as presented.
We'll continue using the reverse. Anyone opposed? Not seeing any. The agenda is passed. Thank you. Okay, we have two sets of minutes to approve. First one being October 19th.
The board approves the minutes of the regular board meeting held on October 19th, 2020 as amended.
Anyone opposed? Passed. Thank you. Next set.
The board approves the minutes of regular board meeting on November 2nd.
Anyone opposed? Not seeing anyone, anything carried. All right. 3.0, board chair and administrative reports. Governance. Don't have anything under that? Nope. Okay, we're moving right into administrative.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. On November the 6th, we signed off the design for St. Patrick Catholic School. So that school is starting to proceed right now. We know the demolition contract was also approved by Alberta Infrastructure. I believe staff have a meeting with the company on December the 2nd, so that school will have its asbestos and everything else abated during the month of December, and the demolition should occur sometime in January on that school. We're also proceeding to the second part of it, which is called design build, where they are bridging architects with it, and they are going to conclude and tender that project so that hopefully we can get started late summer on that project, and that one would still be slated for opening of fall of 2022.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions to Carl on this report? Alishka, I've got you up in the corner there. Anything? No. Jamie? Okay. Jennifer?
Point out on the report draft, page 74, it says the municipal address of the school is 16310 137th Avenue, Edmonton, Alberta. It's an empty lot.
Okay, I'll have a look at that one. That's written by the consultants, right? So.
Okay. The other question is, why did the design have the outside classroom? I don't know, it just, we're in northern Alberta.
Generally, Alberta Infrastructure is pushing for a little bit of outdoor classroom use, and in fact, Chantal Napier, who is our early learning person, worked in a school in England where they had the entire program outdoors, even in a climate like this. So ability to get outside and do things outdoors are possibilities, although I think that one didn't quite survive the financial budget. So they did give stuff to us if we wanted to proceed at a later date and do something with an outdoor classroom or an outdoor space. I have to say right now we're scraping for outdoor spaces. We're really trying to look for them even though it's cold, just so that we can have the kids outside doing something and doing different activities. So, kind of their standard in the last year and a half. It started kind of with John Paul II provincially.
Anything else, Michael? No, that was it. Actually, it's funny, Michael, you bring that up because I was reading in the same paragraph or same page. So what furniture, when they say furniture was removed, what is that? What were they moving?
When we moved inside the report or where?
Inside the report, because to cut back, you cut back some stuff off the budget. And it said that, sorry.
There was outside furniture and benches removed from that project. So you know how JP2 has got a variety of seating spaces for kids? The province did trim those out of that project.
Bring it into budget.
Yeah, right. So they did some trimming like that so we can still contain the building. And right now, the large bus loop also still remains in there as well. So we trimmed some of the stuff on the outside just so it's got a basic sidewalk in.
And then,
Yeah, to try to set a budget.
so basically what, and like they said, and Michael Hopek mentioned it, that the consultant will give us the information if we want, like if they ever want to fundraise for something that we would have that information for them.
Yeah, and I could take a small amount of money out of the furniture and equipment budget. That's generally for microscopes, textbooks, and that kind of stuff for the building, and use that to put some outdoor seating as well. If they're looking at it, we put together a package of what we want to see, and then we see if it's affordable. Setting up a school is always pricey to buy all the furniture and equipment, but there's a possibility to use board reserves or that furniture and equipment or fundraise.
Thank you. And thanks for the report, Carl.
Laura coming in here right away.
Laura will come in with the faith report.
Hello.
Doorbell.
Hello, Laura.
Hi, everyone.
You're up, Laura. Thank you.
I'm up. Oh, wait, I lost you guys. There you are. How is everybody?
Good.
Good to see your faces.
You're not that clear, Laura. You're not coming across really clear.
I'm not in my audio or in my face.
Louder.
Audio.
Louder. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, we're good.
I wonder.
Does that help?
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So I hope you're all doing well. It's great to see you. Just not a huge faith report this time around. We just have a couple things that we really wanted to highlight. And the first being the NET retreat. So our national evangelization team, they are finishing up in our district this week. Will be their last week with us. And it's been a wonderful having them. All the schools are raving about how wonderful they've been in order to make everything, just great for the kids. I'm really, really, really pleased that we were able to have them and offer that opportunity. So they are in Fairview tomorrow and Wednesday, and then that'll wrap it up. Catholic Education Sunday was a little different this year, but it was a really big success. We sent out lesson plans and activities for the teachers to use. We had about almost 500 kids that entered into the draw where they completed the I Love Catholic Education activity. And so we had lots of entries into there. We don't really do it as a competition. I just kind of put all the names in a virtual hat and pick from there. So yeah, we're really, really pleased with how that turned out, and the participation on behalf of the schools was excellent. And then the Remembrance Day services were held throughout the district. One of the things with the celebrations that we've been doing and the different, all those that have been happening in masses in the schools, the staff has been really inventive and really great in their ability to adapt and to be able to still deliver that for our families and for our parents, and to have these celebrations while staying within those COVID restrictions. So I really applaud them in their inventiveness and their unique ways that each one is approaching it. Are there any questions?
Michelle.
I just noticed that in Grand Prairie for the sacraments for the students that they have to register. Can you hear me?
A little bit. Something about.
In Grand Prairie, all the families are having to register their kids online to do the sacraments and stuff. Is there any kind of parent forum like there was before for those parents? Like, how is that going to happen over Zoom or?
Yeah. So what happened is that the registration opened today. So it's only open for 1 week. We sent out, all the schools sent out the notification to their parents today as well, and that's been on their social media. We didn't want to send it out earlier because I didn't want parents going to the website and it not being there. So we sent it the same day that it opened. It's open just for this week, and that's through the church website. I know they had a little bit of issue with it this morning, but that was resolved. And this is just for our Grand Prairie students, just an FYI. And the online registration, where they watch a video from Father Remy, who kind of just goes a little bit over the sacrament itself. And that's generally what we would do at the registration nights anyway. And then in the new year, what's going to happen is we are going to host virtual parent forums. And those virtual parent forums will just be an optional sign up, just like the ones we've had in the past. And those past parent forums, what we've done is we've just gone a little bit deeper into the sacrament, what the parents can expect at the sacrament, what the logistics of it are. And we also talk about the resources that are being used in the schools by the teachers. So those will happen. And we're going to probably host those parent forums about 5 weeks prior to the actual sacrament starting. And that's generally when the teachers start the preparation period. So our first Eucharist is going to happen right before Lent. So that'll be almost immediately coming back from our Christmas break, that teachers will be starting that preparation for first Eucharist. And we'll have a parent forum at that time for them then. Hence why we really need to get these registrations done, and we're only opening for that week. And then during Lent, we'll have the Sacrament of Reconciliation, and then the Sacrament of Confirmation will take place after Lent.
Any other questions for Laura?
Me.
Look everywhere except you.
What about the others, like St. Marie's, STM? What about those guys? Have you heard anything?
So they generally do their sacrament registration a little differently because they are a little bit more intimate and generally, well, definitely don't have the same numbers. In Grand Prairie, we tend to be 100 plus each sacrament in terms of kids. And in the other parishes, it's much smaller. So they have, I know in Beaver Lodge, they've completed all of their backup, if you will, the ones that were missed from last year. And the other communities are doing their backlog as well. And then what they do is that usually the administrator at those schools just talks to the priest. They select a day and then they send that information, and parents register their kids through the school is generally how it works at each of our individual parishes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions to Laura? Not seeing any on the screen. Laura, just to touch on, my daughter went through the NET retreat with, and she, it's funny, I think we're trying to get a message across, and sometimes they're not at a point in their life where they want to hear it, but it's funny how it doesn't matter. They still really enjoyed the presentations, the people, so you know that it affected them. It touched them in a way, you know, so it's, I found it very, very good.
There's something about having youth talking to youth that really, really makes a huge difference, as much as we as adults want to like talk to our kids and everything about this. When you have someone who's closer in their age, sending the same message, it comes with a little bit more of an impact, I think.
Okay. Thank you very much, Laura.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. Okay, moving along. Superintendent's report, COVID-19 update.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to give you a brief highlight in terms of what's happening in terms of COVID. So in the last little while, we have restricted access into the classrooms to try to tighten up our cohorts. So what we found is sometimes there would be an educational assistant who is doing good work in a variety of classrooms, but that knocked out a variety of teachers and students. And so what we've done now is say only really the medical professionals, so it might be speech, OT, PT, can be in with kids. And generally what we try to do is pull them out of the classroom. So everything we're doing is pull out. If we're short an EA and a kid needs help, that kid will also be pulled out of the classroom so that we don't have an EA crossing from one classroom to the other. And I would say the only thing that I did allow for a group coming in besides, let's say, RCMP, social services, or medical would be net ministries. And we had debated it a number of times whether we could let net continue because they were bouncing to a lot of different classrooms. But in the end, we've let it continue, and I guess God has let it work, and let that message come to the kids without the kids being isolated or anything else. We have certainly seen, I guess we had a meeting in the Archdiocese with the different school jurisdictions around us, and we're seeing more than maybe our smaller jurisdictions, but we're seeing similar to what our other partner boards are seeing in the city. So we had 3 staff out so far. I think we're now at about 30 or 31 teachers, or sorry, 30 or 31 students who've also tested positive. I'm going to back up again. 3 staff tested positive, 31 students have tested positive, and at different times we've had upwards of 725 kids go out. In any given week, probably there's 100 kids out that have to be isolated for a variety of different reasons. Thursday we had 3 positive cases. On the weekend we had 3 positive cases. Some of them are a lot of kids that go out, and some of them are as small as 14 that are going out. But we're certainly seeing community transmission coming into the schools in a significant way. We are slightly seeing, you read now on the weekend, that high school kids have the ability to transmit to other high school kids. And so we've tightened up some more of where kids can and can't eat, or how they have to face, even on breaks when they want to hang out with one another. But we're still committed, and our ATA has said, even in the ATA liaison, that people want to teach in schools. Those who are in schools want to be in school. Those who are successful online are successful online, and we want to continue with that process. We are getting a little bit of a demand. We have to actually see what the real numbers are for students wanting to transition to high school, maybe second semester. We will have to look in terms of what we have for people resources. As Mr. Miller could say, one of our struggles is the day-to-day management of people and people resources, of people going out, people that are isolated. And we're reassigning people when we need to teach. We also sent a letter out to all the educational assistants indicating you may be reassigned to different schools depending on what's happening. Tomorrow we have a meeting with our high school principals to look at the possibility of doing a little bit of transition in, transition out if the number gets high enough. We can't send a school out without the permission of Alberta Ed, but if we have the data, we could send out grades if need be. We are still of the opinion that we want our kids safe, but we also know that good learning occurs when the teacher is in front of the kids. Questions, I guess?
Questions? Yes.
Yes, I guess my big thing is, from everything that I've been hearing, is exactly what Mr. Jorgensen saying, that people who are in school are happy to be in school, the parents are happy that they're there, and the teachers want to teach them. I guess my, just a comment would be, when students do come back, they're kind of in different cohorts right now, so I think there might be some things to start looking at, because they're now coming in and these other students are kind of used to each other's germs, so to speak. And so I think that, I guess the planning of that with the principals and so forth will be where to go. But everything that I've heard is really positive. Obviously, we're going to wait and see what happens in our community. But it's either it's going to stay the same, which is why we've seen other provinces are doing it this way, because they want to keep kids in school, or if it's different, it's going to be different for everybody, I think, right? So, yeah.
Thank you. Michelle?
No, I'm good. I think that we're doing a good job with what we have, and I think that, you know, it's a day, but it's the moving pendulum. It just, you never know where it's gonna land, and I think overall, considering from the day we started, we've done a good job in keeping kids safe and teachers safe, and I think that, you know, everybody knows that it changes day to day, and I think that that is the big thing, that, you know, they're ready for a change if it has to happen, and I think we're doing a good job. So just thanks for the update. That's the big thing.
David, Michelle, I think it's a good job, thanks.
Screen? Go ahead, Alicia.
Yeah, I pretty much just want to echo what everybody's saying there. I am pleasantly surprised that I know we've had staff, we've had students go out for isolation, but we have had not had any widespread school transmission. And I think that's a huge testament to our teachers and all the work they're doing, our custodians, all of our staff, everything they're doing to keep our schools clean and to keep our students safe. And so I am very pleasantly surprised that we've been keeping things under control as well as we have. So.
You have heard from Dr. Dina today. They switched the process of contact tracing. We've now taken over it about a week ago. And we're sending kids out and the classrooms out when we get a positive test. They're now not going to go back in time and going to start with a positive test tomorrow and see what happens from there. And we've been doing that work already. So just kind of a thanks to everybody who's been working hard to make sure the kids go out and the staff go out to keep people safe.
What do you need, Pop? Sorry.
So we were dealing with a case this weekend that the kid was tested positive November the 5th. So it was useless because we already knew. We already had sent them out about a week ago, and they were returning already on Monday. And so what they're saying is, you know, those kids have been in contact with others. We're going to go to the most recent cases and work our way forward and backwards from there. We're basically just going to stop time, jump forward, and then do the contact tracing rate from then. But the schools are managing with it and doing a fantastic job, as you guys say, keeping kids safe and keeping themselves safe. If the community mirrored the schools, we would probably have far fewer transmissions in the community in some areas, right?
Absolutely, but I think the schools and all districts are running on a much more stricter guidelines than what the community is doing. And like you said, if the provincial or the municipal governments would hammer down on it, we would be seeing the same results that we are in the schools, you know. So yeah, I think again, everyone knows, I mean, our schools are doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Carl. 3.4, St. Kateri, air quality.
Yeah, so you would have received the letters that the parents received. There were two different letters that went out. One where we closed down the gym because we had concerns with the air quality, and then we reopened the gym after we retested the air quality and did some scrubbing and some sealing. This past weekend, the contractors who were doing the building were underneath the school, and they removed all the debris, and we got all the pictures. We're going to send our own team down just to make sure. And then there's still some work that needs to be done underneath the school in terms of managing the water and the water flow under the building. You'll never completely get rid of water flow and dirt and soil, but we're working with Alberta Infrastructure to make sure that's as good as it can be for the kids in the school. But the school and all the spaces remain safe, and we've passed that information on to both parents and to Alberta Infrastructure and Education.
Any questions on that? The reports were all in the documents. Everyone good? Michelle?
I'm a council on the trustee that sits at Kateri, and they're all happy to have their gym back, especially because, you know, as the weather changes, they're just happy to have their gym back, and they appreciate the updates that they get in regards to the health of the kids and stuff. So just passing that on to everybody else.
Thank you.
I lose my big screen up there. Oh, I'm just going to put up, sorry. We need to put up the bylaw that comes next.
Okay. Okay, now we're moving into action items. Sorry, I lost mine. 4.1. Okay, how are we doing this, Carl?
I'm going to put that one up just on screen. So if you just give me 1 second. So I'm going to have to put the motion on the table, and then you'll have to vote on it. You have to read the bylaw in its entirety.
I got that part. What are they putting on? First, second, or third reading? First.
No. The Board of Trustees approved the first reading of bylaw 01-2020 for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division as follows. 5 trustees to be elected from Ward 1, Grand Prairie, Beaver Lodge, Sexsmith, and Immediate County. 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 2, Spirit River, and Immediate County. And 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 3, Fairview, and Immediate County.
Okay. Motion is on the floor.
But don't you have to read it now?
Now you have to
Read it now. Okay? Here we go.
Michael's turn.
Practice before I learn. Okay. Bylaw 01-2020, nomination elected by trustees by ward. The bylaw of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division to provide the nomination of trustees by ward. Whereas Section 76(1) of the Education Act provides that a board of a district may provide the nomination of an election of trustees by wards of electoral subdivisions as the case may be. And whereas bylaw number 01-2020 of GPRC School Division is a bylaw to replace bylaw number 01-2017 for the nomination and election of school trustees. Now, therefore, the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division enacts as follows. This bylaw may be cited as the nomination and election of trustees by ward bylaw. That the said school district shall comprise of 3 wards as described in the attached Schedule A. That the total number of trustees to be elected within the said trustee shall be 7, and that 5 trustees will be elected from Ward 1, 1 trustee from Ward 2, and 1 trustee from Ward 3. That this provision will be effective for the 2021 general election unless otherwise amended in accordance with Section 76 of the Education Act. And further, all provisions of the Local Authorities Election Act shall apply respecting the nomination or election of trustees in every election. Read a first time this 23rd day of November 2020. Read a second time this 23rd day of November 2020. Read a third time this 23rd day of November 2020 with unanimous consent of all trustees present at the meeting. Here we go. Schedule A of the bylaw 01-2020. Ward 1 shall consist of the following lands. Township 73, range 26, west of the 5th meridian. Section 7 to 9 inclusive. Section 16 to 21 inclusive. Sections 28 to 33 inclusive. Township 74, range 26, west of the 5th meridian. Section 4 to 9 inclusive. Section 16 to 21 inclusive. Township 67, range 4, west of the 6th meridian. Those portions of the sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying west of the Smoky River. Township 67, range 5 west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 67, range 6 west of the 6th meridian, section 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 67, range 7 west of the 6th meridian, section 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 67, range 8 west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 67, range 9 west of the 6th. Township 1 and 2, sections 11 to 14 inclusive, sections 23 to 26 inclusive, and section 35 and 36. Township 68, range 4 west of the 6th meridian. These portions of the sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying west of the Smoky River. Township 68, range 5 west of the 6th meridian. Those portions of the sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying west of the Smoky River. Township 68, range 6 west of the 6th. Sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 68, range 7 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 68, range 8 west of the 6th meridian. Township sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 68, range 9 west of the 6th, sections 1 and 2, sections 11 to 14 inclusive, sections 23 to 26 inclusive, sections 35 and 36. Township 69, range 4 west of the 6th meridian. Those portions in sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying west of the Smoky River. Township 69, range 5 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36. Township 69, range 6 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36. Township 69, Range 7, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 69, range 8, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 69, range 9, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 and 2, sections 11 to 14, sections 23 to 26, all inclusive, and sections 35 and 36. Section 69, range 10, west of the 6th, sections 32 and 33, north half of section 31, west half of 34. Township 69, range 11, west of the 6th, sections 33 and 34, northeast quarter of section 31, east half of section 32. Township 70, range 4, west of the 6th meridian, sections 28 to 35 inclusive, those portions of sections 1 through 18 and 23 and 24 lying south of the Wapiti River, those portions of sections 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, 26, and 27 lying north and south of the Wapiti River, those portions of section 36 lying north and south of the Wapiti and between the Wapiti River and Bear River. Township 70, range 5, west of the 6th, sections 22 and 23 and 25 to 36 inclusive, those portions of section 1 through 12 and 18 lying south of the Wapiti River, and those portions of sections 13 to 17, 19, 20, 21, and 24 lying north and south of the Wapiti. Township 70, range 6, west of the 6th, the sections 19 to 21 inclusive, sections 25 to 36 inclusive, and those portions 1 through 12 and 13 lying south of the Wapiti River, those portions of sections 14 to 18, 22, 23, and 24 lying north and south of the Wapiti. Section 70, range 7, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 6 inclusive, sections 8 to 17 inclusive, sections 21 to 28 inclusive, sections 33 to 36 inclusive, east halves of sections 20, 29, 32, that portion of section 7 lying south of the Wapiti Rivers. Township 70, range 8, west of the 6th, those portions of sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying south of the Wapiti River. Township 70, range 9, west of the 6th, section 31, those portions of sections 1, 2, and 11 lying south of the Wapiti, those portions sections 7 and 18 lying north of the Red Willow River and west of Beaver Lodge River, the portions of sections 19, 29, 30, and 32 lying west of Beaver Lodge River. Township 70, range 10, west of the 6th, sections 4 to 9 inclusive, sections 16 to 21 inclusive, sections 23 to 26 inclusive, west halves of those portions of sections 15 and 22 lying north of the Red Willow River, west halves of section 3 and 10, those portions of sections 13 and 14 lying north of the Red Willow River. Township 70, range 11, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 70, range 12, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 70, range 13, west of the 6th, sections 13, 24, 25, and 36. Township 71, range 2, west of the 6th, those portions of the sections 1 to 36 inclusive lying north and west of the Wapiti River. Township 71, range 3, west of the 6th, sections 7 to 9 inclusive, sections 15 to 36 inclusive, that portion of the west half of section 3 lying west of the Wapiti River, northwest quarter of the portion of the east half of section 4 lying west of the Wapiti River, that portion of section 5 lying north of the Wapiti River, the portion of the north half of the southwest quarter of section 6 lying north and west of the Wapiti River, that portion of section 12 lying west of the Wapiti River, that portion of northeast quarter of section 12 lying north of the Wapiti River, the portions of sections 13 and 14 lying north of the Wapiti River. Township 71, range 4, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36. Township 71, range 5, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 71, range 6, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 71, range 7, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 71, range 8 through 12, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 72, range 2, west of the 6th meridian, section 6, that portion of section 5 lying west of the Wapiti River, those portions of sections 7, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 29, 30, and 31 lying west of the Smoky River. Township 72, range 3, range 4, range 5, range 6, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 72, range 7, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 5 inclusive, sections 7 to 9 inclusive, sections 17 to 19 inclusive, sections 30, 31, 35, and 36, that portion of section 6 not included in the Saskatoon Lake,
those portions of sections 10, 15, 16, and 21 lying south and west of Bear Lake. Those portions of sections 11 to 14, 24, 25, and 29 not included in the Bear Lake. That portion of section 20 lying south and east of the Bear Lake. Those portions of sections 26, 27, 32, and 33, 34 lying north of the Bear Lake. Township 72, range 8, thank you, west of the 6. I was trying to cheat there. Section 3 to 36 inclusive. Those portions of sections 1 and 2 lying south and west of the Saskatoon Lake. Section 72, range 9 and range 10 west of the 6th meridian. Sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 72, range 11 west of the 6th. Sections 1 to 29 inclusive. Sections 33 to 36 inclusive. South half and northeast quarter of section 30. Northeast quarter of section 31, north half of southeast quarter of section 32. Township 72, range 12 west of the 6th. Sections 1 to 21 inclusive, sections 23 and 24, sections 29 to 32 inclusive, south half of the northwest quarter of section 22, and the west half of sections 28 and 33. Township 72, range 13 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 36. Township 73, range 1 west of the 6th, sections 21 to 28, sections 33 to 36. Township 73, range 2 west of the 6th, sections 30 to 33 inclusive of those portions of sections 6, 7, 18, 19, 20, 28, 29, and 34 lying west of the Smoky. Township 73, range 3, range 4, range 5, range 6, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 73, range 7 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 30 inclusive, sections 32 to 36 inclusive, east half of section 61. Township 73, range 8 west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 3 inclusive, sections 10 to 15 inclusive, sections 22 to 25 inclusive, east half of section 4, 9, and 16, southeast quarter of section 21, south half of northeast quarter of section 26. Township 73, range 9 west of the 6th, sections 3 to 10 inclusive, sections 14 to 23 inclusive, sections 26 to 33 inclusive, section 35, south half of the northwest quarter of section 34, and west half of section 36. Township 73, range 11, west of the 6th meridian. Sections 3 to 5 inclusive, sections 8 to 10 inclusive, sections 15 to 17 inclusive, section 20 to 22 inclusive, west half of the southeast quarter of section 2, west half of sections 11 and 14, east half of sections 6, 7, 18, and 19, and southwest quarters of section 23 and 26, south halves of section 27, 28, and 29, and southeast quarter of section 4. Township 73, range 12 west of the 6th, sections 5 to 8 inclusive, section 15 to 22 inclusive, section 27 to 30 inclusive, section 33 and 34, west half of section 4, north half and southwest quarter of section 9, north half of section 10, south half of section 31, south half and northeast quarter of section 32. Township 73, range 13, sections 1 to 6 inclusive, south halves of sections 7 to 12. Township 74, range 1 west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 4 inclusive, sections 9 to 10 inclusive, east half of section 15. Township 74, range 2 west of the 6th, sections 5 to 8 inclusive, sections 17 to 21 inclusive, those portions of 3, 4, and 9, 15, 16, and 22 lying west of the Smoky River. Township 74, range 3 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 24 inclusive, sections 26 to 24 inclusive. Township 74, range 4 west of the 6th meridian, range 5, range 6, 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 74, range 7 west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 4 inclusive, sections 9 to 16 inclusive, sections 21 to 28 inclusive, sections 33 to 36 inclusive, northeast quarter of section 17, east half of section 20. Township 74, west of the 6th meridian, southwest quarter of section 2, south halves of section 3 and 4, and the southeast quarter of section 5. Township 75, range 5 west of the 6th, range 6 west of the 6th, sections 1 to 12 inclusive. Township 75, range 7, west of the 6, sections 1 to 4 inclusives, and section 9 to 12 inclusive. Ward 2 shall consist of the following lands. Township 76, range 4, west of the 6, sections 16 to 21 inclusive, sections 28 to 33 inclusive. Township 76, range 5, west of the 6, sections 2 to 11 inclusive, sections 13 to 36 inclusive. Township 76, range 6, west of the 6, sections 1, 12, 13, 24, 25, and 36, northeast quarter of section 35. Township 77, range 4, west of the 6, townships 3 to 33 inclusive, southwest quarter of section 34. Township 77, range 5 and range 6, 1 to 36 inclusive, west of the 6th meridian. Township 77, range 7, west of the 6th. Sections 3 and 4, sections 7 to 10 inclusive, sections 13 to 36 inclusive, east half of section 1, west half of section 2, north halves of sections 5 and 6, west half of northeast quarter of section 11, and north half and southeast quarter of section 12. Township 77, range 8, west of the 6th meridian, range 9 and range 10, sections 7 to 36 inclusive, north halves of sections 1 to 6 inclusive. Township 77, range 11, west of the 6th, sections 12 and 13, sections 24 to 26 inclusive, sections 35 to 36, the north half of section 1, northeast quarter of section 2, east halves of sections 11, 14, and 23. Township 78, range 4, west of the 6th, selections 4 to 9 inclusive, sections 14 to 36 inclusive, and those portions of sections 10 to 13 inclusive lying north of the Burn River. Township 78, range 5, range 6, range 7, range 8, range 9, range 10, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 78, range 11, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 and 2, sections 11 to 14, sections 23 to 26, and sections 35 and 36. Township 79, range 4, west of the 6th, sections 5 to 7 inclusive, south half of sections 2, 3, 8, and 18, west half, and southeast quarter of section 4, southwest quarter of section 9. That was a tough job, Jody. Township 79, range 5, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 24 inclusive, sections 27 to 34 inclusive, and those portions of sections 26, 35, and 36 lying south and west of the Dunvegan Creek. Township 79, range 6, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 14 inclusive, sections 18 to 36 inclusive, those portions of sections 15, 16, and 17 lying north and south of the Kistian River. Township 79, range 7, range 8, range 9, and range 10, west of the 6th meridian, sections 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 79, range 11, west of the 6th, sections 1, 12, 13, 24, 25, and 36, and the east halves of sections 2, 11, 14, 23, 26, and 35. Township 80, range 5, west of the 6th, sections 2 to 11 inclusive, that portion of section 1 lying west of Dunvegan Creek, and those portions of sections 12, 15, 16, 17, and 18 lying south and west of the Peace River. Township 80, range 6, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 23 inclusive, sections 26 to 35 inclusive, and those portions of sections 24, 25, and 36 lying south and west of the Peace River. Township 80, range 7, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 6 inclusive, sections 9 to 15 inclusive, sections 23 to 25 inclusive, south halves of section 78. Township 80, range 8, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 6 inclusive, west halves of sections 7, 18, 19, and 30, and southeast quarter of section 12. Township 80, range 9, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 18 inclusive, sections 20 to 24 inclusive, south halves of sections 19, 26, and 27, south half and northeast quarter of section 25. Township 80, range 10, west of the 6th, sections 1 to 16 inclusive, south half of section 17, 18, and 24. Township 80, range 11, west of the 6th, sections 1 and 12, east half of section 2 and 11, south half of section 13, southeast quarter of section 14. Township 81, range 6, west of the 6th, sections 3 to 5 inclusive, sections 9 to 10 inclusive, and those portions of sections 1 to 11, 14, and 15 lying south of the river. Ward 3 shall consist of the following language. Township 80, range 1, sections 15 to 22 inclusive, sections 27 to 32 inclusive, south half and northeast quarter of section 33 and those portions of sections 7 to 10, inclusive, lying north of the Peace River. Township 80, range 2, west of the 6, sections 13 to 18, inclusive. Sections 20 to 29, inclusive. Sections 32 to 34, inclusive. Section 36, south half and northwest quarter of section 35, south half of section 19, and those portions of section 7 to 12, inclusive, lying north of the Peace River. Township 80, range 3, west of the 6. Section 7 to 10, inclusive. Section 13 to 23, inclusive. Section 27 to 24, inclusive. And those portions of sections 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, lying north of the Peace River, south half of section 24. Township 80, range 4, west of the 6. Sections 12 to 36, inclusive. Those portions of section 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, lying north of the Peace River. Township 80, range 5, west of the 6. Section 19, section 22 to 36, inclusive. And those portions of sections 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, and 21, lying north of the Peace River. Township 80, range 6, west of the 6. Those portions of sections 24, 25, and 36 lying east of the Peace River. Township 81, range 1, west of the 6. Sections 25 to 36 inclusive. South half and northeast quarter of section 6, west half of section 5, north half of sections 23 and 24, and northeast quarter of section 19 and 22. Township 81, range 2, west of the 6. Sections 25 to 36 inclusive. North half and southeast quarter of section 19, north half and southeast quarter of section 20, north half of section 21, northwest quarter of section 22. Township 81, range 3, west of the 6. Sections 3 to 12 inclusive, section 14 to 36 inclusive, north half and southwest quarter of section 13. Township 81, range 4, west of the 6, sections 1 to 36. Township 81, range 5, west of the 6, sections 1 to 36 inclusive, and sections 21 to 28 inclusive, sections 33 to 36 inclusive. Township 81, range 6, west of the 6, sections 12, 27, 28, sections 32 to 34 inclusive, west half of sections 23 and 26 and 35. Those portions of section 1, 2, and 11 lying east of the Peace River, and those portions of sections 20, 21, 22, 29, 30, and 31 lying north and east of the Peace River. Township 82, range 1, range 2, range 3, 1 to 36 inclusive. Township 82, range 4, west of the 6, sections 1 to 27 inclusive, sections 34 to 36, east half of section 28 and 33. Township 82, range 5, west of the 6 meridian. Sections 1 to 18 inclusive, sections 20 to 24, sections 27 and 28, south half of northwest quarter, section 26, west half of section 33, southwest quarter of section 25, and those portions of sections 29, 30, and 31 and 32 lying east of the Hines Creek coulee. Township 82, range 6, west of the 6, sections 1 to 4 inclusive of sections 10 to 15, section 28, south half of northwest quarter of section 21, south half of section 22, southwest quarter of section 23, and those portions of sections 5, 6, 8, 9, 16, 20, and 29, and 30 lying east of the Peace River. Township 83, range 1, west of the 6, sections 1 to 12 inclusive, section 14, south half of the northeast quarter of section 15, south half and northwest quarter of section 18, west half of section 13, southeast quarter of section 16, and southwest quarter of section 17. Township 83, range 2, west of the 6 meridian. Sections 1 to 23 inclusive, sections 27 to 34 inclusive, north half and southwest quarter of section 35, southwest quarter of section 34, south half and northwest quarter of section 23. Township 83, range 3, west of the 6, sections 1 to 15 inclusive, sections 8 to 17, sections 20 to 29 all inclusive, sections 32 to 36, east half of sections 6, 7, 18, 19, 30, and 31. Township 84, range 1, west of the 6, sections quarter, southwest quarter of section 7. Township 84, range 2, west of the 6, sections 2 to 7, sections 18, 19, 30, and 31 inclusive, west half and southeast quarter of section 8, west half of section 17, 20, 29, and 32, and the south half of section 9 to 12 inclusive, and the northwest quarter of section 1. Township 84, range 3, west of the 6, sections 1 to 5, sections 8 to 17, sections 19 to 36 inclusive, and east half of section 6, 7, and 18. Township 85, range 3, west of the 6, sections 1 to 36. Okay.
Do that faster than me by about 7 minutes, just saying.
Personal goal.
Yeah.
Personal win. Okay. So
We have read the motion.
Can I ask for a recorded vote for this, please?
Recorded vote's been asked for. Okay, so I'm going to read just the first part of it again so everyone's got it, okay? Board of Trustees approved the first reading of bylaw 1, the Grand Prairie Catholic Division follows 5 trustees, Ward 1, 1 trustee elected to Ward 2, which is county, and 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 3, Fairview. Okay. We're going to go back the proper way. All those in favor of the motion as presented. Okay, passed. Can we go to second reading now? Okay, I need a motion of second reading.
That the Board of Trustees approve the second reading of bylaw 01/2020 for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division as follows. 5 trustees to be elected from Ward 1, Grand Prairie, Beaver Lodge, Sexsmith, and Immediate County. 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 2, Beaver River, and Immediate County. And 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 3, Fairview, and Immediate County.
Okay. Second reading, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Give it done. Okay. I need a motion for the third reading.
Michael, I just had to clarify was that my request is for a recorded vote for all of these.
The second reading wouldn't have been a recorded
Okay.
vote.
Okay, I'll ask for a recorded vote on the last one, please.
Michelle, go ahead.
The Board of Trustees approved the third reading of bylaw 01/2020 Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division as follows. 5 trustees to be elected from Ward 1, Grand Prairie, Beaver Lodge, Sexsmith, and Immediate County. 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 2, Spirit River, and Immediate County. And 1 trustee to be elected from Ward 3, Fairview, and Immediate County, declining a delay.
Motion's on the floor. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, next one. These are all action items. So if everyone's ready to put their motions on the floor.
The Board of Trustees appoint Joanna Dare as the returning officer and Chelsea Isabel as the substitute returning officer for election 2021.
Okay. Now, in your package, there was some background information. Administration had spoken to the candidate and was available for this, right? Correct? And Chelsea would be our backup. Okay, so motion's on the floor. Now, I'll go back the other way. Anyone opposed? Not seeing any. The motion carries.
How did that happen, Carl?
I don't know. Okay. 4.3.
That the Board of Trustees cancel the December 21st board meeting because it's scheduled during the division's Christmas break.
Motion's on the floor. I guess the background is right there, why they're asking for this. Anyone opposed to this motion? Not seeing any, it's carried. Motion 2.
The Board of Trustees moved the December 7th meeting to December 14th to allow time for fiscal quarterly report.
So again, self-explanatory why we want to change those one date. 7 would come down to 14, and then we'd have all our financial information in front of us. Yes. Jennifer.
The 7th day of our scheduled retreat. So just out of convenience, because we're looking at videos, is there any way we can
Oh, I see.
right? Because if everybody's already in town or I'm
Just move it.
Can we do that?
It's easy for the committee to move that.
It's easy peasy.
Sorry, I could not hear Jennifer's request. She's asking for the retreat to be moved to the 14th. Is that the request?
Yeah, that's her request.
Okay, thank you.
And probably, I mean, the reasoning is that some of us are taking days off. So
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Regular plan, so yeah.
I see no problem with that.
I don't see it. Anyone?
The only other one, Mr. Chair, that was scheduled on that day is trustee orientation. Do you want it left on that day or it doesn't matter to us? That doesn't impact. I think that was Alishka and Michael for trustee orientation.
Where is it at?
2:30 to 3:30. It could certainly be done by Zoom.
You want to leave it, Alishka? Okay. Okay. So, sorry, just to do the motion. Well, no. We'll stay with the motion as it is, but we'll move that other part. Okay. So the motion is that the Board of Trustees move December 7th meeting to December 14th to allow time. Anyone opposed to this motion? I'm not seeing any. It's carried. Thank you, Jennifer, for bringing that other part up too. 4.4.
The board of trustees continue the growth and development ad hoc committee, referring the committee's work to the board's winter 2020-2021 strategic planning.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea that we all know what's kind of the plan, or what, not the plan, but what hopefully will be the plan.
Yeah.
So I would be in favor of this, just saying.
Any other comments on that motion? Motion's on the floor. All those, anyone opposed? Not seeing any. Motion carries. Who's giving us this one? Okay, I need a motion on the floor.
That the Board of Trustees approve the combined 3-year plan 2020 to 2023 and the annual education results report 2019 to 2020 as presented.
Okay, so you got it all in your package. Any questions on the 2 reports that were submitted? I'm looking around. No. Everyone had a chance to read them and they've got no questions on them? All right, so the motion, anyone opposed to the motion? Not being, motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I need a motion on the floor.
That the Board of Trustees approves the first reading of bylaw 02-2020 nomination of candidate bylaw for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Separate School Division.
I think everyone had a chance to read this as we got it ahead of time. Any questions on this?
Do we have to read this bylaw? Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, you gotta read it. You gotta read every bylaw.
Okay, please.
Bylaw number 02-2020 nomination of bylaw, candidate bylaw. A bylaw of the Grand Prairie, Roman Catholic Separate School Division to specify the number of electors required to sign the nomination of the candidate for the election of the Board of Trustees of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division. Whereas Section 27, 2 of the Local Authorities Election Act requires that the Board of Trustees of the division with a population of at least 10,000 electors may pass a bylaw prior to December 31st before the year in which the general election is to be held, indicating the minimum number of electors required to sign the nomination of a candidate for the office. The number the number of electors required to sign must be at least 5 and no more than 100. And whereas it is deemed necessary by the Board of Trustees of the Grand Prairie Roman, that's a spelling mistake there, Catholic Separate School Division, that the minimum number of 5 electors be required to sign a nomination of a candidate for election to the Board of Trustees of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division. Now therefore, the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division enacts as follows. Number 1, the bylaw may be cited as the nomination of a candidate bylaw. Division means the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division. Elector means a person eligible to vote in an election as identified under Section 74 of the Education Act. Read the first time this 23rd day of September 2020. Read a second time this 23rd day of November 2020. Read a third time this 23rd day of November 2020 with unanimous consent of all trustees present at the meeting.
Okay, so that's the bylaw, and we got one spelling change. Did we pick that up? The wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So with bylaw, I'll go back the other way. All those in favor of the bylaw as presented? Alicia? Thank you. Okay, second reading.
Board of Trustees approve the second reading of bylaw 02, 2020 nomination of candidate bylaw for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
Bylaws on the floor. All those in favor of the bylaw? Carried. Third reading.
That the Board of Trustees approve the third reading of bylaw 02, 2020 nomination of the candidate bylaw for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay. 4.7.
The Board of Trustees approve the first reading of bylaw 03, 2020 trustee election campaign disclosure bylaw for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School, current Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
Okay, motion's on the floor. Just, this is the first time that we've had a disclosure bylaw. Sorry? Yeah, we're gonna read the whole thing. Who wants it?
Bylaw 03, 2020, the trustee election campaign disclosure bylaw. Bylaw of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division to require the trustee election campaign disclosure contributions and campaign expenses of the candidate for the trustee of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division. Whereas the public disclosure of campaign finances improves the accountability of the candidates to the public. And whereas section 1, sorry.
Very right, section 1.
Page too far up. And whereas section 147 of the Local Authorities Election Act provides that an elected authority requires that candidates for trustee of a school board to disclose to the public their campaign contribution and expenses. Now, therefore, the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division enact as follows. Number 1, the bylaw may be cited as the trustee election campaign disclosure bylaw. Number 2, campaign period is from January 1st through December 31st in the year of the general election. For by-elections, the campaign period refers to the time set by the resolution 60 days immediately following the by-election. 3, campaign expenses is any expense a candidate incurs, including non-monetary contribution for real property, personal property, or a service is used to directly promote or oppose a candidate during the campaign period. The expenses or non-monetary contributions include A, the production of advertising and promotional material, the distribution, broadcast, or publication of advertising or promotional material in any media or by any other means during the campaign period, including the use of a capital asset. The payment of remuneration and expenses to or on behalf of a person for a person's services as a chief financial officer or any other capacity. Securing a meeting place, or or E, the conduct of election surveys or other surveys or research during a campaign period. 4, duties of a candidate. Candidate must ensure that A campaign account, either in the candidate's name or in the name of their election campaign, is opened at a financial institution for the election campaign at the time of nomination or as soon as possible after contributions exceed $1,000 in total. B, if a campaign account has been opened, all monetary contributions are to be deposited into the account. C, the money of the account is only used for the payment of campaign expenses. D, contributions in real property, personal property, and services are valued. E, receipts are issued for every contribution obtained for every expense. F, disclosure statements are filed. G, contribution and expense records are kept and retained for 3 years after the date the disclosure statement was to be filed. H, proper direction is provided to the local agent, to the official agent and anyone else who is authorized to incur campaign expenses and to accept campaign contributions. I, contribution received in contravention of the LAEA is returned to the contributor as soon as possible. And J, an anonymous contribution which cannot be returned to the contributor is provided to a registered charity or school board. 5, campaign disclosure. Every candidate, including a candidate who withdraws, is required to file a disclosure statement with the Secretary Treasurer on or before March 1st, immediately after the general election, using Form 26. For by-elections, the disclosure statement must be filed no later than 120 days after the date of the by-election. The disclosure statement must include A, the total amount of all campaign contributions received during the campaign period that didn't exceed $50 in total or any single contributor, from any single contributor. B, the total contributed with the contributor's name and address for each person whose contributions during the campaign period exceeded $50 in total. C, the total amount of contributions received not exceeding $5,000 outside of the campaign period. D, the total amount from fundraising functions. E, the total amount from other revenue. F, the total amount of campaign expenses. G, an itemized campaign expense report setting out the campaign expenses incurred by the candidate. H, the total amount of money paid by the candidate. I, the total amount of surplus, including any surplus from previous campaigns. And J, the amount of any deficit. If the candidate does not file nomination papers in the next general election, they must give the surplus to the school board within 6 months after the date of the general election. If there is a deficit, the candidate must eliminate the deficit. 7, campaign surplus. Campaign surplus. Candidate must donate an amount to a registered charity that results in the surplus being less than $1,000 and may retain any portion of that amount or donate that amount to a registered charity and report it accordingly. 8, late filing. A candidate who fails to file a campaign disclosure statement on time will have to pay a $500 late filing fee to the school board. 9, the third-party registration and advertising. A third party must apply for registration in a local jurisdiction which it has occurred or intends to incur expenses of at least $1,000. When it has accepted or intends to accept contributions of at least $1,000. The local jurisdiction must maintain separate third-party registers for election advertising and political advertising. Expense limits. During the election advertising period, a third party can't exceed the election advertising expenses as determined by regulation. 11, contributions and expenses. Any individual or corporation, trade union, or employee organization cannot make an advertising contribution to a third party unless the third party is registered, unless the third party is not required to register because they haven't met the $1,000 expense threshold. The following entities cannot make an election campaign contribution: and individually, who ordinarily resides outside of Alberta, prohibit corporation, a trade union or employee organization that is not Alberta-based, a registered charity, or a group where any member of the group ordinarily resides outside of Alberta, a prohibited corporation, a trade union, or employee organization, unless an Alberta-based union or organization. F, anonymous and unauthorized contributions. An anonymous contribution of more than $50 cannot be used and expended by the registered third party. The contribution must be returned to the contributor if their identity can be established, or to the local jurisdiction if not. Contributions not belonging to an individual, corporation, trade union, or employee organization, or any funds that have been furnished to any of these intended entities are prohibited. If the Secretary Treasurer becomes aware that the contribution has been accepted from the entity that was not allowed to contribute, or if the funds were furnished, they must advise the school board in writing of the fact and any circumstances within 30 days of finding out. After notifying the school board, the Secretary Treasurer must return the contribution according to the school board's directives. 9, identification of third parties. A third party or a person acting on their behalf must ensure their sponsored election advertising or political advertising complies with guidelines established by the Minister of Municipal Affairs. H, disclosure of third parties. Every third party that engages contributions for election advertising must file a report using Form 28, third party advertising contribution statement, with the school board by March 1st following the general election. The report covers the advertising contributions received during the election advertising period. The report must be set out. The amount of the advertising contributions received that did not exceed $250 from any donor, and the amount contributed, the name and address of the contributor, and the amount and date of each contribution for each contributor who made advertising contributions during the election advertising period, totaling more than $250. In addition, a third party must file an election advertising return that includes a financial statement, a list of all advertising contributions received during the election advertising period, an election advertising spending limit report, the advertisement's time and place of broadcast or publication, the election advertising expenses related to, and any supporting information and documents relating to the election advertising return. Late filing. A third party that fails to file a report and return by March 1st must pay a $5,000 late fee to the school board. If the fee is not paid within 30 days, the school board must send a notice to the third party and the Secretary Treasurer stating the $500 needs to be paid. If the third party still fails to pay the fee, the school board can file a notice with the Court of Queen's Bench. If the third party fails to file a report and return, the school board can cancel the third party's registration. If a third party files a report and return no later than 30 days after filing deadline, the school board is unable to cancel the registration. Number 12, all candidates shall file with the Secretary Treasurer on or before the first day of March in the year immediately following the year in which the division's election is held. All documents filed with the Secretary Treasurer pursuant to this bylaw are public record upon expiration of the time prescribed by this bylaw for the filing of the same, and may on request be inspected at the Catholic Education Center of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division during normal office hours. The returning officer, 14, a returning officer shall ensure each prospective candidate has received a copy of this bylaw. 15, any candidate who contravenes any section of this bylaw is guilty of an offense and is liable for a penalty of not more than $1,000. 16, the bylaw comes into force the day it is passed. Read for the first time this 23rd day of November 2020. Read a second time this 4th. So I'll stop there.
We read them all before. We're going to do it all today.
Oh, okay. Read a second time this 23rd. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's when you do one reading.
okay. Got it. Thanks, Jody. Sorry.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
Okay, motion's on the floor. We'll go in favor. All those in favor of the motion as read? Carried. Thank you. Okay. Which one did we just do? Campaign disclosure?
Gotta do bylaw.
Okay. 4.8.
The Board of Trustees approved the first reading of bylaw 04/2020 locations to receive nomination bylaws for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
Motion's on the floor. I'll read the bylaw. Bylaw 04/2021, locations to receive nomination bylaw. A bylaw of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division to approve locations and receive nomination of a candidate for the election of the Board of Trustees of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division. Whereas Section 28 of the Local Authorities Election Act requires that a Board of Trustees pass a bylaw prior to the 31st of December or the year in which a general election is to be held, if a nomination can be received at a location that is not the school jurisdiction's office. And whereas it's deemed necessary by the Board of Trustees of the Grand Prairie Roman, spelling again, Roman Catholic School, Separate School Division, and a nomination can be received at a location that is not the school's jurisdiction's office, and that the returning officer is approved to establish one or more locations in addition to the jurisdiction's office, where a deputy returning officer can receive nominations. Now, therefore, the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division enacts as follows. Number 1, this bylaw may be cited as the locations to receive nominations bylaw. 2, returning officer means the returning officer appointed by the Board of Trustees. And 3, the deputy returning officer means the deputy returning officer appointed by the returning officer and is generally the returning officer for a city, county, or MD municipal district within the boundary of the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic School Division. Read a first time this 23rd of November. Read a second time this 23rd of November. Okay, so we're voting on the first bylaw, on the first motion.
And Mr. Chair, just one other technical typo. It should be bylaw 04/2020. That's what it's referred to in the motion. But on the screen, it says 2021.
Okay.
Just minor technical, but it is there.
All those in favor of the first reading? Carried. Can I get a motion for the second?
That the Board of Trustees approve the second reading of bylaw 04/2020 locations to receive nomination bylaw for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, 4.9.
We need a third reading.
Oh, we're going to do this one in 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
That the Board of Trustees approve the third reading of bylaw 04/2020 locations to receive nominations bylaws for the Grand Prairie Roman Catholic Separate School Division.
All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. 4.9, audited financial statements, audit committee and secretary treasurer's presentation.
For her to come in.
I need, no, do I need a motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, motion.
The Board of Trustees approved the audited financial statement of 2019-2020 as presented.
And Chelsea's going to give us the report, and we did have an audit committee meeting today before this. So, go ahead, Chelsea.
Pulling your presentation.
Yeah, she's coming.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to get my presentation in the right screen here. Let's go. Sorry, 1 second here. Okay. Can you see the first slide?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is our audited financial statement presentation for the year ended August 31st, 2020. Sorry, I just got to move. I have my Zoom in front of my. There we go. Okay. Okay, so every year Alberta Education receives copies of our financial reporting documentation for each jurisdiction in the province, and they do their own internal reviews and assessments in addition to the external audit work performed, and they follow up with school jurisdictions if they have any questions. Each jurisdiction's audited financial statements are posted on the Alberta Ed website. In addition, they are also available on our own website. Ours are located under our GPCSD.ca under our division and financial information. So the guidelines come out each year by the Financial Reporting and Accountability Branch. So it has lots of information for us about submission of what we have to send to them in addition to the actual AFS. It has messages for changes in reporting from year over year. So when we have changes in the funding manual, there's usually a reflective change in the guidelines for the audited financial statements. They also have draft copies of the statements and schedules and notes as well. Various appendices are included, so they have sample notes, guidance on different program reporting, capital asset reporting, all that type of stuff. So it's the school authority's responsibility to follow the Education Act and related regulations and ensure that the independent auditor is registered with the Chartered Professional Accountants Alberta and qualified to perform an insurance engagement under the CPA Act. So the independent auditor's report, if anybody wants to follow along in the statements, because I'm just going to kind of do a bit of a brief summary in my presentation. So I have the page numbers on the slides of what pages in the statements you're following along with. So the independent auditor's report is on page 3 and 4. So the division hires an independent external auditor through an RFP process that follows the Alberta procurement laws. Financial statements belong to the division, but the independent auditor's report that's contained in the statements is prepared and issued by the audit firm. So the statements are prepared by management, and there are statements, but the auditor's report in there is prepared by the auditor, and that's basically the only part of the statement that is done by them. The independent auditor's report includes management's responsibility, the auditor's responsibility, the audit opinion, and other matters if applicable. So management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of financial statements in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards. The auditor's responsibility is to express an opinion on the financial statements based on the audit work conducted. The report itself includes an explanation of what an audit involves. So if you want some more detail on that, you can go through and thoroughly read the independent auditor's report. I'm not going to read it word for word tonight. I think we've had lots of reading going on. So the opinion is either an unqualified or an unmodified opinion, which is considered a clean audit opinion. And that's ultimately the goal when you're having an audit done. There could be a modified opinion, which doesn't necessarily mean it's an unclean opinion when you have something such as an other matters paragraph. So we do have an other matters paragraph in our, our auditor has an other matters paragraph. And all that does is just draw attention to the fact that there is some supplementary information in schedules that are not audited. So we have some unaudited schedules in our financial statements, which are required by Alberta Ed. Any questions so far?
Keep going.
Okay. So our statement of financial position is on page 5. Okay, so a few highlights. So our cash and cash equivalents decreased about 3.4 million from 2019 to 2020. So this is mainly due to a movement of funds from cash into portfolio investments. So we had 2.7 million added into our portfolio investments, which we have invested in GICs. So the investments are set up so that every 6 months, approximately every 6 months, we have a GIC maturing. And then generally, as long as the cash isn't needed, we roll it over. So we're kind of just getting them set up. So they're constantly maturing on a schedule, and then we roll them in unless cash is needed for some reason. So our AP increase of approximately 2.6 million. So the majority of this increase is related to progress billings at year end for O&M projects. So at the beginning of the month, we had a presentation about lots of our IMR, CMR projects that are going on. And so that's what this is referring to when we're talking about the O&M projects. So progress billings for what was completed up to year end. So some samples of those would be the St. Gerard Clear Story Roof project. We had the Mother Teresa second floor infill project, or Kateri parking lot, and various other IMR and CMR stimulus projects. So our AP is also affected by the timing of our payroll remittances at year end. So sometimes our remittances are paid, at month end. Sometimes they're paid a day or two after, so rolling into the next month. So that had a bit of an effect at year end just because of cutoff and when that payment was actually made. So a couple other things that I'll touch on. So our AR increased by about 550,000. So this was due to Alberta infrastructure grants for the MCP, or our modular classroom program. So that's for moving the modulars between Mother Teresa and JP2 and Sexsmith and Beaver Lodge. We also had an increase to our GST refund at the end of the year, as well as we had a one-time refund from the public board for our share of the PCS contribution allocation. Other items that are included in AR is receivables from municipalities for property taxes, and then just our general accounts receivable. Other financial assets. So this is what is our share of the subscribers surplus for USIC. So USIC is the Urban Schools Insurance Consortium. So we're part of that, along with some other urban boards and the metro boards, some of the metro boards in the province. And then we have our unspent deferred contributions. So this includes both our operating and capital funds. It decreased this year by about 675,000 as we're spending these monies down. So which is the intention, right? So that's just the net change, that 675. So we got our IMR allocations in, and then we spent, it was 1.6 or 1.4 million share of that. Okay, so our non-financial assets and accumulated surplus. So that's just if you keep scrolling down on the statement of financial position. So highlights on here are our tangible capital assets increased by approximately 4.2 million. So this can be attributed to work completed to date for Alberta infrastructure managed projects. So that's like new schools and modernizations, as well as capital projects funded by the board, projects funded through IMR, CMR stimulus, etc. So there's further detail about our tangible capital asset additions. If you want to look further into how they're classified, how much was in work in progress, all those details are included in Schedule 6 on page 16. And then as well, you can refer to Note 1, Section I in the divisions for the division's accounting policies related to our tangible capital assets. So that would tell you, how they're amortized based on class and all that type of information. Prepaid expenses increased by 680,000, which is mainly attributed to the initial contribution for the expansion of the O'Brien Lake West Gym, as per our funding contribution agreement. And the accumulated surplus increased by our 2020 operating surplus of about 1.9 million. We'll go through that surplus when I get to those schedules. Other information would be our spent deferred capital contributions increased by about 863,000. So that's the net of the supported additions less amortization on supported tangible capital assets. Okay, so if we turn the page, so this will be on page 6 now. You'll have your statement of operations. So we have our Government of Alberta revenue stream that decreased by 1.0 million. So Alberta Education decreases due to that base funding reduction for May to June of 715,000, and the transportation funding reduction for April through June of about 365,000. So those are items that we had noted in our previous quarterly reports. We had a decrease to property taxes due to changes in mill rates. And then we had fees and various other revenues decrease by approximately 450,000. So those decreased mostly due to school fee refunds that were issued for March through June, and then just disruption of normal operations due to the pandemic, effects on our local economy, people not making as many donations, that type of thing. Okay, so for expenses, instruction, which I grouped together the ECS and the grade 1 to 12, the first two lines there, the instruction. So overall, the overall reduction in this area after March 2020 is the school support staff was reduced and students were not in the building. So that reduced our operating costs as well. So this includes, you know, like school budgets, which are largely unspent during the last few months when operations were far from normal. The PO&M, so this one increased as a result of those additional projects being completed while schools were closed. So notably, we had a $2.5 million allocation in CMR stimulus projects that were pushed down by the government. Also experienced an increase in COVID-related supplies, such as like hand sanitizers, cleaners. You know, some schools were putting up the plexiglass and stuff around the offices, that type of thing. Transportation. So when the funding was reduced, as I mentioned in the revenue section, we also came to an agreement with our contractor to reduce our contract by the same percentage for our April through June billings. Oh, sorry, I forgot to click through the highlights on that one. I was just giving her. We also had a decrease in our board and system admin of 258,000. Okay, so schedule of program operations. So this is schedule 3. It can be found on page 13. So as per the Alberta Ed Guidelines, I just want to point out that where funding is not expressly directed towards any specific program or outcomes, revenues may be allocated to the program for which the funds were spent at the discretion of the school jurisdiction. So basically, in short terms, that kind of says we can allocate out the Alberta Ed funding into the various programs unless there's any specific restrictions about ones that can't change. And that's right out of the 1920 funding manual. So this schedule, it breaks it down by program, and then it reports, shows the expenses reported by object. So unless anybody has any specific questions about that, or we can come back if anyone has questions on those, but it's really just the same information that was on the statement of operations presented in a different way. Accumulated surplus and reserves. So if you flip back a couple of pages, these are on page 10 and 11. It's a schedule that spans 2 pages. So the first page, and I'll just kind of go through them briefly to refresh everybody about what all the columns mean. So if we start over here on the right-hand side, the capital reserves. So these represent the portion of accumulated surplus designated for future board-funded tangible capital asset acquisitions. Capital reserves can only be discharged through the purchase of board-funded tangible capital tangible capital assets. Any other use, including transfers to unrestricted surplus or operating reserves, requires approval from the Minister of Education. Next is our operating reserves. So these reserves on the second page of this schedule, you'll see the detailed breakdown of those reserves. So operating reserves represent funds designated for specific purposes by board and management, and this would include our school-generated funds. So the unrestricted surplus is the portion of the accumulated surplus that is unspent and unencumbered by the district at the year end. So as noted in the past, ASBO has had a recommendation for unrestricted surplus. That's a minimum of 2.5% of budget, which is basically an equivalent of 5 operational days. The 2019 budget was 69.1 million, which recommended unrestricted would be 1.72 million. But this recommendation hasn't been updated in relation to the ongoing pandemic. So when we discussed allocation of our reserves at the previous meeting and what we were going to put into funds, instead of, creating a specific COVID reserve, we decided to leave a little bit more in this unrestricted surplus, just to allow for any unforeseens related to COVID. So the next column over is endowments. So we don't have any because we don't have any held by the district, but these are funds held for the benefit of third parties for specific purposes as stipulated by the donor. So a principal may not be, so the principal portion generally can't be expended. It's just the income on that endowment, and that's always allocated to a specific purpose. So we don't hold any of those currently. The next column is the investment in tangible capital assets. So this balance is composed of the cost of board funded or unsupported assets, net of the accumulated amortization, and any related debt if there were any. So the next slide is that second page of that schedule. And this just goes through and demonstrates the various amounts spent from previous reserve allocations, as well as the transfers to the reserves as approved at the previous board meeting. So you can see there is an operating capital reserve under each of these different types. If you want the further detail of what those breakdowns were, you can refer to, I believe it was attached into the agenda, the approved reserve allocation from the previous meeting. So probably hard to see. That's why I say probably refer to the attachment if you can pull that up. So some other items. So the unaudited schedules that I mentioned were noted in that other matters paragraph in the audit opinion. So those are schedules 8 and 9, and they're presented for financial statement user reference, but they're unaudited. And so schedule 8 includes, the point of schedule 8 is to include all charges to parents from students. So that's the schedule of fees. And then schedule 9 is the unaudited schedule of central admin expenses. And that is included so that readers get a better understanding of the jurisdiction's central admin cost structure. So the board and system admin. So the BSA expense limit for 2020, when we calculate it, comes out to 3%. So there's a maximum expenditure for sysadmin that the school board governance ranges between 3.6% and 5.4%. And that's dependent upon school enrollment. So yeah, when we go through and we calculate out what our board and sysadmin was, we were at 3%, which was well within the allocated range for what we could have. So we came in under our cap. Okay, so that was all I had to present on. I don't know if anybody from the audit committee wants to make any comments about our meeting today, or if anybody has any questions they would like to ask.
Okay. We'll first of all go, the audit committee, as I said earlier, met today, and it was trustee, myself, and trustee Fingerhut. So go ahead.
I believe it was Tanya. If I'm correct.
Yes.
She was one of the ladies that did the audit, and she was very huge with everything and all the cooperation that she got from Chelsea and Chelsea's department. And she said that everything was very clean, looked great. So thank you, Chelsea, for doing a good job. I had.
Anyone else have any questions to Chelsea on this? I can start. I got some hands up, but I'll go with Jennifer. You want to go? Go ahead, Jennifer.
Sure. Thanks, Chelsea. So I guess kind of what we're seeing on the surface is, I guess with the unpredictability of where things may go in the new year, we may have underspent transportation and other things in the last year because of COVID and going out early. So there could be a bigger surplus than we anticipated, in which case then we'd have to decide what to do with that. Because it's not like the government's going to come back and say, okay, well, numbers are down. We're just going to take that, right? So we should be planning for the future. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I think probably like the biggest risk for most school boards with the unknowns for the 2021 school year is more going to be running a deficit versus what to do with surplus funds. So, it's fairly common to run a deficit in our maintenance and transportation departments. That's something that occurs regularly and in multiple districts. Those are the areas that usually are underfunded per se. And so I don't think really that we need to worry about at this point where we would put a surplus if we come out in a surplus. Kind of something we would be reviewing next year, probably once the year end has passed in the early fall, same as how we kind of just allocated our reserves at this point. But it would more be that we have that, where I was kind of going with that was that we left that amount in that accumulated surplus for emergent needs, essentially. So basically when there's an accumulated surplus sitting there and it's not allocated into reserves, if executive management determined that there was emergent needs due to COVID, we would use those funds for that.
Some of the surplus that we had before we did put into other projects, right? So it's just going to wait and see type of thing.
Yeah. So like we have allocated the surplus now. The board allocated them at the last meeting, right? So for 2020, it's done. And so now looking forward for 2021, it's fairly early in the year to kind of be taking any guesses about where we'll land. But yeah, we'll have our quarterly report to see the first quarter next meeting.
Anyone else have any questions? Looking on the screen, I don't see any. Okay, so we have a motion. Okay, all those in favor of approval of the audited financial statements? And that's carried, so we're good to go. We are going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back to start up 5.0. Okay, you good? And we're back. Okay. Welcome back to part 2. Board committee and representation reports. Sorry, the wrong one. Board committee. Sorry. All right. Audit committee. We met today. Jody, you're the chair.
Yes.
Anything to report?
No, it went really well. And they, like I said before, the audit committee or the people that did the audit were really happy with Chelsea and the team and the information they provided. And we're very easy to work with. So no, it was good.
So real clean audit, and showing it upstairs is well run because that's where you start to see if there's issues. Doesn't matter if it's private business or our own businesses. So very happy to see that. Michael, anything?
No, clean audit, very confident with our team upstairs.
Very good. ATA Teachers Collective Agreement, October 30th meeting. Who wants to? Okay, thank you. ATA.
Yes, we had a meeting here. We got, first off, we got a great kudos from our teachers. They were very appreciative of us giving them last Friday off and 20th and the 23rd off. They said it couldn't have came at a better time. They were all kind of feeling a little fatigued, and so they've appreciated that. And Ross really wanted to make sure that we knew that he was appreciative. We did talk a little bit about Hapara. Some of the, like, you know, it's the learning curve, and some have done some of the training, some haven't. So I think that's an ongoing thing that they're going to have to learn to work with and figure it out. And I think I'm hoping that as they get familiarized with it, that it'll be as smooth as others have said it is and stuff like that. Also that, you know, it's just looking at what online learning is going to look like in the future. Like if, you know, like after next semester. And just, you know, figuring out our technology pieces and stuff like that. You know, do we have enough to go around if we get shut out again? You know, that type of thing. So, but other than that, it was a good meeting. It was short and sweet, but it was good.
Thank you. Human Resources, the meeting is on December 3rd coming up. Student review, we had no meeting, and political action October 23rd, the MLA meeting, which we had already discussed. So moving into my next section here. ACSTA Board of Directors, the convention was held on Saturday, November 14th. Did we have a full room attend? I think we had everyone attend ACSTA, did we? Yeah, and it was very, very well done for their first AGM, and we, just to add to it, Carl and I met with the bishop the other day, and the bishop was really, he really enjoyed it. He had to step out for a couple hours, but he thought it was very well done. And he was impressed. I mean, it gives him a chance to understand some of the stuff that's going on. So, yeah, sometimes we got to look to the good in COVID, and that gave the bishop a chance to be in on the business side of it, where, you know, the bishops usually aren't there. So, yeah, really good, really good. Anyone want to add anything, or go ahead?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I thought the breakout rooms were really good. I know that in our room, it was an opportunity to learn from some of maybe the more experienced trustees, some of the things that we hadn't thought of, or that was really good. And I think everybody enjoyed having different perspectives from around the province, so that was pretty good.
And that's also what the bishop said. He was in one of the breakout rooms too. He really enjoyed it. Yeah. Okay. All right. ASBA AGM was November 4th, and again, it was very well run. Stuff got through the motions. You know, the fall one is more resolutions and stuff like that. So there will be a report coming out. Then I think we just had 2 trustees unable to attend, so there'll be a report coming out from ASBA.
Anybody want to, oh, Michelle, go ahead.
Just a question under the ASBA. Now, it wasn't in our package this time, but we all got a letter from, or I don't know if Carl received an email from Rhonda in regards to the two things that we as a board have to discuss for zone for January's meeting. In regards to our zone PD, I have put forth the 4 questions about what as a zone we were doing if that's for our zone for the January PD, as well as there was another thing. I can forward that email.
Yeah, I don't have it.
Okay, I'll forward it to you and then maybe put it on in our December meeting just so that we have a chance to discuss before the January meeting.
Sure. That's perfect. Thank you. Ambassador of Christ, was there a meeting? No meeting? Okay.
Can I speak to ACSBA first?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to let those of you who weren't there know when they did the award ceremony, somebody did a lot of work because they did a computer animation of every single award recipient, and so they had them like the computer animation of them walking up to the stage and accepting their award, and they even had Jess computer animated and everything. It was really, really well done. And then they had an actual video of the recipient giving a little speech about what they do and stuff. So it was really, really well done, and it was a nice substitute for the real thing.
Thank you. Archdiocesan Pastoral Council met Saturday, did it?
Yeah, we met Saturday. I don't have the minutes out yet. What I can say is the bishop really wants to keep pastoral plan alive, keep talking about it. He wants to keep it a standing item in all of our meetings, so no. Father Bernard Acum is the new person in charge of Indigenous ministry. He took over from, well, Bill Bernard has been gone for a while, and that spot's been open. The appeal, Bishop wants some information on why to give to the diocese, why, you know, just want to get, you know, good reasons why what the good work that we do, to get that out. The Archbishop dinner went okay, except for the technical issues. Next year they might do a murder mystery in their place. Sounds like fun. They've lost their communications director, Ellen Forsberg, has resigned, and now they're looking for somebody with a lot. Basically, they're looking for a journalist. They want somebody who's really good at writing, as well as designing web pages and getting information out and communicating. But really, they're looking for a writer who can write a story. And then we did some policy review, talked about he's tired of COVID already. We talked about Bill C6 and C7, and that's about euthanasia and conversion therapy that's coming before the court in Supreme Court of Canada. And the bishops are flat out against, you do not agree with the questions being posed. You do not agree with the way everything was posed. The questions to the people were, okay, euthanasia is we've already gone past that. No, he's saying step back. We haven't agreed that euthanasia is good, you know, so they're trying to keep that, but they do not agree with the way that they're promoting these bills. The bishop is doing some workshops. Which day is that? Friday, the 27th of November, from 2 to 4:30 in the afternoon, about what he does. Tuesday, the 8th, it's the same thing, from 9 to 11:30. It's basically what does a bishop do? Next meeting is Saturday, February the 20th at 10 in the morning.
Couple questions.
Just a moment, Trustee Bobette. When you just mentioned about the Archdiocese looking for sort of a good writer, journalist, right now we're dealing with a lot of college students that are back home, and some of them are in communications, and some of them, are, probably desires to go into journalism. If you or maybe Bishop puts a call out to the various, I guess, churches, you might be able to find some college students that maybe not even just one, but a couple that might want to, help out, make a little extra money.
I think that's what he's looking for, but I think he wants somebody with a journalism background. But it's an open, and the position will be open till it's filled, I'm guessing. So,
Maybe a good start.
You talked about euthanasia in the bishop's stance. What was it on conversion therapy?
Same.
I'm gonna try to go back. He was against the question, not against the therapy, or he was against the way they were posing the question. I'm trying to pull up the information. There's a letter from the Catholic bishops opposing both bills. I think we're going to have to wait till we get the minutes from this meeting, and then that might answer your question.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you. Friends STM, nothing. CKC scores meetings coming up in December. TIBA has had, I guess I would call them more technical meetings in the last 6 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. The one I stepped into was on the 18th, and through a couple of checks as to Carl, it was very much upstairs issues, payroll and stuff like that. So the part I got out of it, they are working with them. They're working with the ATA and trying to come up with something for the next round of negotiations that we'll go through. I did. Because I thought Archdiocese was faith permeation.
5 and 7, you might want to ask.
Number 5, faith permeation.
We're not having a meeting, but tomorrow we are.
We'll have for our next one. GP Education Foundation.
Number 10.
Number 10. Thank you, Jody. Number 11, Administrative Budget Committee Rep.
We haven't gone back to budget committee. We will in the spring. So that's just the person who brings in.
And what about CKC and scores?
I said that next meeting is in December.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
I missed that.
I know, because you were so excited I missed 2. Grace ad hoc had a meeting today. Anyone want to report back on the Grace? Michelle.
Okay, so we're moving forward with our action in regards to Grace. We are looking at doing the food bank drive thing around Lent. We set it March 6th. No, March 6th is the date that we're gonna try to do this district-wide by tapping into all of our parish on the same day. So Jamie is going to look at contacting all the different areas within our district to find out what their needs are, like in Fairview and in Beaver Lodge and Sexsmith, just like with food banks and things like that, to see what their needs are before we put a call out as to what kind of drive this is going to be. And then we're seeing in the smaller areas having about an hour and a half of a drive, like for people to come and drop off within an hour and a half. In Grand Prairie here, we're looking at about 2 hours. As well as then myself, I'm going to be contacting priests in all of our, within our districts, just to kind of let them know that we're doing this, and for them to contact their knights and their CWL members and find volunteers that would help in their area. And, trying to work out logistics still, whether or not we need a trailer, if we can use, like if it's going to if we're collecting for a certain area, if they have a spot that we can just do the drive from, then we don't need trailers and trucks and things like that. So still some work, but we're going to start all of this roughly in January. Just so that, but we wanted to let you guys know that we are moving forward in a plan of action for Grace, as well as tomorrow we're having a archdiocesan level Grace meeting. Bonnie, who the director is actually with the bishop, are going to put on a mini conference, I guess, in regards to Grace, and it's from 1 to 3 tomorrow on Zoom, and so we're going to be attending that, and just to kind of see how the other areas are doing in regards to Grace. So,
Thank you. There wasn't a growth and development ad hoc, and actually that'll come off there in our next meeting. December 17th, trustee orientation ad hoc meeting. Board retreat ad hoc December 7th, which is now really the 14th. Change the date to the 14th. Regional school site ad hoc. We had that meeting on the 20th. Carl and I and Michael attended that. Carl, do you led that more or less, but what we're trying to do there is get the districts, together, the other districts in there, and try to come together, picking school sites and stuff like that. And also, so it's part of also that working together, that motion that was put through that it didn't pass, but trying to work together with the school districts in school sites. Carl, is that?
Yeah, one of the things we found was the county did provide money to Peace Walking school jurisdictions. So when they receive money for the value of land, they do have it in a reserve, and it actually has to be used for that. So it might be something that we look at or consider, present to the county to say, hey, you just provided $3 million to the 5 Mile site. Sorry. Would you consider contributing to this site in terms of adding more land, putting something there for the community, whether it's a structure or adding value to the property, whatever it might be. So just that part was interesting.
Yeah, and we had representation right across. The county didn't have their elected officials there, but they had their administration there. So, yeah, it was very good. Anything, Michael? No.
One thing is we could, although we all got together, we could see where everybody was far apart at this point. I don't think there was any. I don't think anybody wanted to get together again, but I think there might be some interest in expanding scores, which is what the agreement we've got within the city to encompass the county and the Peace property. But that's in preliminary. That might be a way that we can all get together eventually.
There's a requirement of the Municipal Government Act that within 3 years from September 2020, that political entities of the boards and the counties have to have an agreement on the school site allocation. So although we have a clean allocation process with the city, the county one is on demand, and there would have to be something a little more formal in place. So at least that part could be guided by a subsequent meeting. Ideally, scores would lead us there, but it might not.
We'll keep at it. We'll try.
Okay. Good.
Casino didn't have a meeting, and Ward ad hoc had no meeting. So I need a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Trustees accept the reports as given.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Just here, this request for information and future agenda items. This is the time if you want something where we put it in. Just so you remember, if you're thinking about something and then you want to have it brought in. Right after we do closing prayer, we are going to go in camera for a short amount of time. I'll need a motion to go in camera from someone. Okay, correspondence, you received all this, administrative procedure update. Oh,
I noticed that the one piece of correspondence,
yes,
in Beaver Lodge, they're actually requesting me and Michelle go, which I'm fine with that. But does anybody, I know you're their person, why would they want me?
they want the chair, the vice chair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm more than willing to go. I was just wondering if there was some reason that I'd done something that.
They just want to include the vice chair.
Oh, okay.
This is the first I had heard about that letter as well, so.
No, that's
Okay,
good.
we're going to go back a bit. Administration procedures update. Are there any questions on these administrative procedure updates that we received? Carl, is there anything you want to highlight, or it's pretty? No. Yeah. Okay. No question. Oh, I'll look on the screen. No questions on administrative procedure. Correspondence. So that's where the Beaver Lodge had sent us a letter, a request, and we'll set up a meeting for that in January. Probably out of Beaver Lodge. It works if we can. Greater St. Albert, and I got a hard copy. And you all had a chance to read that. Those letters have been coming across on stuff like that. So, round table. I'm going to start with Michael.
Hey, you taught me, yes, you did. Okay, the trustee financial literacy presentation before the last meeting, and the last meeting, I had we had a great meeting with St. Catherine's Student Council, or School Council. Another one is planned for tomorrow. St. Catherine's is later in December. St. Clement's is tomorrow. What else did I do? ASBA Zone 1 meeting. I was at ACSTA Zone ACSTA Fall General Meeting. I was at the ASPA Fall General Meeting, AGM. I was at the Regional School Site Meeting, and the Audit Committee meeting today, and the Grace Committee meeting today.
Thanks, Michael. I'll go to the screen. Alishka.
I was at the financial meeting on the 2nd, board meeting on the 2nd, zone meeting on the 4th. I did attend the Archbishop's dinner on the 6th. I was at Catholic Ed Sunday. I attended the ACSTA and ASBA FGMs all 3 days. And then I have coming up St. Joe's School Council and Sexsmith School Council next week.
Thanks, Alishka. Jamie. Go ahead, Jamie.
Sorry, I'm in trouble with my mic. So I did the financial literacy on the 2nd. The Archbishop's dinner was that week as well, and the Zone 1 ASBA AGM meeting. And then I also participated in all 3 of the online ACSTA and ASBA meetings, AGMs. And I found them really good. I was very impressed with how it all went, and I liked the breakout rooms that we had as well. I thought that was very well done for the ACSTA. So please take that feedback to them, Michael. I think that that was important for us to do that. We had also the ATA liaison meeting, and that went very well. Getting a lot of good feedback from them, and they're very happy with the way that things are going. The Grace meeting was today, and I've also been, we're going to have a meeting this week for the our retreat. So that's been this month.
Thank you. Jennifer.
Okay, Mr. Chair. So yeah, attended the zone meeting, ASBA, attended the ACSTA board meeting, AGM. It was really cool because with Michelle and I finishing up our trustee course, they actually had it running, which was really nice as a recognition of that. And went to my school Holy Cross meeting. My JPT one was canceled, and really enjoyed the Holy Cross meeting. Attended both board meetings, and attended both weekends for the Catholic Education Sunday in person.
Thank you. Michelle?
I did the financial literacy as well as the board meeting in November 2nd. November 4th was the zone meeting, and I did that as well. November 12th, I had two school council meetings, one with Kateri and the other one with Beaver Lodge. November 14th, ACSTA. Again, I thought it was a fantastic meeting. November 19th, ATA liaison meeting. Today, Grace, and our board meeting, and tomorrow, faith permeation and Grace meeting, and then we have our board retreat this week as well. Been busy. That's it.
Good.
Financial literacy, 2 board meetings, I guess, some agenda meetings, school council for St. Thomas More. I did mass for Catholic Education Sunday, even though I couldn't really talk to anybody. Did ASBA zone meeting and AGM, ACSTA, AGM, and the audit committee today.
Lots of busy things. Mine's very similar to what everyone else. Financial literacy on the 2nd, starting off November, and then of course our board meeting. The Zone 1 meeting with Zoom, Catholic Education Sunday. Remembrance Day, they had a small event. We laid a wreath on behalf of the board there at the cenotaph outside, so that was nice. TIVA, as I had mentioned. Again, the 2 conferences, ACSDA and the SBA, were very good. Again, TIVA again. And then the regional school site meeting, and then we had the meeting with the bishop as well. So, and then today we did the audit committee. So, very busy, very busy. Okay, did I get everyone? Yes. I need a closing prayer.
I'm going to pray for our parents. Name of the Father, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord, thank you for the blessing of our parents, their dedication to Catholic education, and their commitment to maintaining a faith life in the home, which complements the faith life of the school. It's remarkable. Help us to support our parents in this valuable work that they are doing to celebrate with them the successes that we share in our Catholic schools. We ask this in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
And then if I can get a motion.
Can I make a motion to go into camera?
All those in favor?
Limited to trustees, superintendents.
I moved it, sorry.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's good, okay. So we're adjourned, we'll shut